Hello students, welcome to Lab C4. We're going to be working with transformers today, and wanted you to just take a look at this. There's basically three things we can do with transformers. We can step up voltage, we can step down voltage, and we can isolate voltage from one side to the other. So the schematic you're going to be working with is this one right here. But this is the basic layout of a transformer, but the schematic you're going to work with is going to be this one right here. So we basically have a circuit set up here, and we have the primary and the secondary, and we're going to put a 5.1 k ohm load on there and do some measurements. But before we do that, we're actually going to take a look at the transformer. And the way this transformer works is that I've got, I'm going to show you one in just a second. And the transformer that we've chosen today is labeled A, B, C, D, and E. This is called a center tap transformer. The left side over here is called the primary. That's usually where the input comes, and the secondary is the output. And when you talk about a specific exact center tap, that means that this point E is halfway between C and halfway between D. So you would have half the turns ratio between C and E or D and D. And so this is sort of like what a transformer looks like. We're going to look at this in just a second, but that's what our transformer looks like. And let's just go and take a look at that. We're going to look down here at this. And most transformers will have some labeling. It'll talk about what the input could be and the output. Looks like the input here is 115, output's 24, and then CT over there says white. So that's going to be how our transformer is set up. What we originally want to do is we want to do some measurements. And the measurements we do primarily are continuity checks to see how these things are set up. So this is our schematic. There's your label of your transformer there. And then when they talk about RAB, RCD, the A, B are just test points. So the test points are going to correlate to what we have in our schematic. A and B here, and C and D and E here. So the way a transformer is designed is the left side is primary, right side is secondary. There is no electrical connection. All the connection between the primary and the secondary happens through induction and mutual inductance. And so there's no physical wires or anything that go from one side to the other. So if you're going to do a continuity check, you would read something at AB and something at CE. So if I'm looking at my board here, and these are the test points that I'm looking at for my transformer, as you see that between AB is reading the primary side, CD, CE, and ED are all reading values on the secondary side there. And then all these other ones are from the primary to the secondary. There are no electrical connections there. So you're going to go through there and do continuity checks to see what that looks like. And in order for us to do these continuity checks, is one way I've set this up is that this just sort of correlates to what I have in my layout here, is that this is A here, and this is B here, this is C here, and this is D here. And I put these in a proto board, a breadboard, and it makes it easier where you can just clamp off on these between the 2 points and do that according to the deal. Or you can just, if you have clip leads that have clip leads that you can clamp off on them like these, and you may just want to use these just to clamp off. You don't even have to use a proto board on that. So it just depends on what you have available to you. And then once we do that and check continuity, we're going to put a load in here of we're looking at a 5.1 load resistor. So we're going to put that on our secondary here. And in this case, we're not going to worry about our center tap. My input voltage on this is going to be 4 volts, 60 hertz. So I'm going to hook that up to my SIGGEN built into my proto board here, turn that on, and then I can take my meter and start doing measurements. And you're going to fill that chart out. So you're going to look at continuity checks on page 68. And then on 69, there's some instructions here about what you need to do as far as building your circuit. And there's a picture of the wiring diagram, so you can see exactly what you're supposed to do there. This backside, we're going to measure voltage on the primaries and secondaries, and then we can calculate what the impedance is. And once we go through there are going to be some questions after this part of the deal, looking at ratios of transformers and being able to calculate what the values on the primary and secondary are in accordance to what those ratios are. So you're going to take a look at that and have a good understanding of transformers when you get done. If you have any questions, your laboratory instructor will be more than happy to help you out, and we'll see you in lab.